How much does it cost to live in Chiang Mai in Thailand? That's probably a question that you're asking yourself if you're thinking about living there for a month or two, or if you're planning to live there on a more permanent basis. Recently I spent 2 months in Chiang Mai and I divided the time between two neighbourhoods to give me an idea of what the different neighbourhoods are like. But I also chose two properties that had different facilities and they were in a different price range. Please jump into the comments and leave your experiences and give us an idea of your costs if you live in Chiang Mai or if you've lived in Chiang Mai in the past. I'm going to share my monthly costs with you. Now these are going to vary either slightly or widely because we've all got different interests and we've all got different needs, different things that we want to spend our money on. But the more people that leave their comments and leave their experiences to share with other people, that's just going to make everyone who's planning on living in Chiang Mai be more informed so they'll know whether Chiang Mai is the right choice for them or not. Just a quick request, if you enjoyed the video or you've ever watched a previous video on the channel, please help us out by subscribing. This helps the channel to grow, which allows us to keep travelling and sharing useful information with you. Thank you. Unless you're a party animal and a big drinker, your biggest expense will most likely be accommodation. The prices I mentioned for rent are based on two people sharing. I'll share these costs with you, but at the end I'll show you the total spend per person. If you're renting on your own, then you could pay less for a studio, but for us, we need a separate bedroom and living room, and that bumps the price up a bit. In the first month, we stayed at a condo called Escent Condo. This is located right next to Central Festival, so it was the perfect place for going shopping and eating at the food court, which I'll talk about a bit more later in the video. This place cost us 25,000 Thai baht per month and there were no extra bills to pay. And I found it advertised on Airbnb. I really liked the look of the pictures and when we arrived everything looked fresh and modern and I was happy when I checked in as it matched my expectations. This space itself was ideal for us. It included access to communal facilities such as a rooftop pool, which was lovely because a lot of the time I had the place to myself. It had a sauna, both a female sauna and a male sauna. You wouldn't really think a sauna was going to be ideal while the sun was hot, but sitting in the sauna for 5 or 10 minutes and then jumping back into the pool made the pool icy cold, which was lovely. And there was also a gym and the gym was well equipped, never too busy, air conditioned, so it was great just to get a workout in. And there was also a workspace on the bottom floor and a chill room. So for anybody who's wanting to work from home, the Wi-Fi was good, but you've got two spaces within the whole building that you can use and they're never busy and they're usually really quiet. To see this property in more detail, I've left the link to the Airbnb advertisement in the description, so have a look at that. The second property that we stayed at was less expensive and that is called 51 Hometel and it's located in an area called Chiang Mai. Forgive me if my pronunciation's not correct. And I also found this on Airbnb. This was lower in price. This one cost 15,000 a month rather than 25,000, so 10,000 less. So you can see there are places that are significantly cheaper, but of course Escent Condo, I do think it was of a higher standard and it was more modern and it did feel nicer. But however, the space was actually bigger at 51 Hometel, but I'll let you see for yourself and you can see the difference between the two places. As I just mentioned, during these 2 months in Chiang Mai, I had nothing extra to pay for cleaning, electricity and water and Wi-Fi. All of those fees were included in the price, but that's not always the case. So if you are going to book somewhere on Airbnb for short term for a month, just check, speak with the host first and find out whether there's any additional costs. For example, previous times staying in places in Thailand such as Phuket, Chiang Mai, Koh Samui, when I have had an electricity bill to pay based on two of us sharing and using a fan during the day and probably an aircon in the evening, my bills for electricity have usually come in at about 2,000 baht a month and the water bill usually came in at about 300. Cleaning sometimes is included, but if it's not, you can usually pay 300 baht or 400 baht for 1 hour of cleaning. Another essential that we need when we're living overseas, of course, is insurance. I'm currently using insurance with a company called Safety Wing. The cover that I've got, you don't need to be in your home country to take out this cover. So if you're already overseas or you're traveling, Safety Wing is perfect. I currently pay 3,400 baht a month for this travel and medical insurance. I've never needed to use it up to now, and hopefully never need to, but I do know that they have a great reputation and it's really easy to sign up. There's no annual contract, you simply just take it out for 28 days, and then if you don't want it to carry on, you can cancel it at any point. If you want to sign up, you can click on the affiliate link which I've left in the description. I do get a little bit of a commission for that, but that's there for you if you want to use it. Then we've got food, and this is one of those expenses that can vary wildly depending on your preferences. Are you someone that prefers to cook at home? Do you enjoy eating local Thai food, or do you miss your home comforts and do you crave Western food? If you do prefer to cook at home, you'll most likely use one of the supermarkets such as Tops, Tesco Lotus or Big C, and doing this might allow you to keep the costs down. I'm not one of these people. I don't really enjoy cooking, I have to be honest. There's so much delicious and affordable food in Chiang Mai. I prefer going to the restaurant instead of grocery shopping, cooking and cleaning. You can afford to eat out every day and still stick to a budget. For example, I usually eat at the food court at Central Festival and spend in between 70 or 100 baht on lunch. Then in the evening, I usually get some takeaway and can spend anything between 50 to 150 baht. In general, I spend about 300 Thai baht a day on food. And this amount also covers buying other things as well, such as coffee, milk and yogurt. I love Thai food, so the majority of the time I buy my Thai food from local Thai restaurants, which are usually really well priced. Sometimes though, I do crave some Western food, such as bangers and mash in a giant Yorkshire pudding, which I absolutely love. Western food is more expensive, so if you like eating your home comforts regularly, or you like eating a range of cuisines, this will definitely bump up your monthly budget quite a bit. My spending per month for food usually comes to about 9,000 baht. I think one of the great things about Chiang Mai that makes it really desirable for expats, digital nomads, anybody who's just wanting to relocate and live in another country, is the Wi-Fi. I've had no problem anytime that I've been in Chiang Mai. The speeds everywhere that I've stayed have always been stable and they've always been really, really fast. So for anyone who's wanting to work while they're living in Chiang Mai, if they work online and they're just wanting to stay for a month and do a bit of work from an Airbnb, this is definitely a really good choice. In addition, there's also a number of data SIMs available. There's 3 main providers that I'm familiar with, and they are AIS, DTAC and TrueMove. I currently use DTAC and pay 200 baht a month. For that, I get 10 gigabytes of data at maximum speed. Then after that's used, which usually it isn't, I've got access to unlimited data with a download speed of 20 megabytes per second. Many places that you rent on a monthly basis will most likely not charge anything additional for internet. Just make sure that you check though with the agent or the owner of the property before booking an Airbnb. Like I said before, I always send a quick message over to the host and ask them any questions that I've got before making a booking. Recreation is another one of those expenses that again can vary wildly depending on your tastes and interests. Are you someone that loves going out for a drink on a night time? Are you someone that loves a massage? Are you someone that's in Thailand because you like the girls? If so, then that's definitely going to bump your monthly spend up. You need to make sure that you factor in days out. You might like exploring, so you might have entrance fees to pay to places that you visit, or you need to spend a little bit more on gas for your motorbike to cover trips around or outside the city. My amount in this category in Chiang Mai is actually really low due to a few reasons. I hardly ever drink alcohol, so I rarely go to bars and clubs, and I've visited many of the temples in Chiang Mai, so don't have that many fees to pay to enter places. But I'll allocate 1,000 baht though, as I do enjoy going to a coffee shop now and again, maybe once or twice a week. Next up, we've got the amount that you would pay for exercise. So if you want to do gym, you want to go swimming, you want to do yoga, you want to do Muay Thai, things like that. A lot of the condos available in Chiang Mai do have a gym, not all, but for example, Escent Condo that I stayed in did have a gym. It had everything I needed for a month, but I don't think it would be ideal for me for any longer than that, as it's not big enough and it doesn't have a great selection of equipment. You can find gyms with good daily rates. For example, this gym, O2, it's great. You can pay 60 Thai baht for a day pass. I think it's about 800 Thai baht for a month. This is probably one of the lowest daily rates I've seen anywhere in Southeast Asia during my travels. 60 Thai baht a day is really competitive. During my first month in Thailand, I paid nothing for the gym, but in my second month I went to O2 gym, or another gym called Miscellaneous, and again that was 60 Thai baht, and I paid that maybe 3 times a week to go there, so not a lot of money to pay to use the gym. I love having access to a pool so I can have a swim, especially due to the fact that there's no beach in Chiang Mai or near Chiang Mai. There was a swimming pool at Escent Condo, but there wasn't access to a swimming pool at 51 Hometel. But, for example, if you don't have access to a swimming pool and you're staying in Chiang Mai long term, there is a place called Rujirawong, which is close to the university, and if you're staying for a year, you can pay 300 Thai baht for a membership, and then every time you want to use the pool, you would pay 50 baht for every day pass. For my monthly spends, I'll include 1,000 Thai baht for gym membership and swimming. With transport, there's a few different options available. You can rent a motorcycle, and that'll cost you about 2,500 baht up to maybe 4,000 baht, depending on the type of vehicle that you rent. I've got my own motorbike, so don't need to do that. But for example, you can rent something like a Honda Click for 2,500 Thai baht a month. A lot of people don't want to use the transport because they don't feel comfortable driving in another country, and I completely respect that. Now, if you don't want to rent a motorbike, then you can walk around Chiang Mai. It's quite accessible, or there's Grab taxis, Grab motorbike taxis. There are the Song Taus. The Song Taus are the little vans that take you around the town. There's a few of them. They're colour coordinated. There's red, there's yellow and blue. I can't remember which colour is for what route, but I think they usually cost about 30 to 50 Thai baht per journey. If you do want your own motorcycle and you're definitely planning to stay for 6 months or longer, so for example, if you're planning to stay for a year, then it is more cost effective to buy your own motorcycle. I paid 18,000 Thai baht for my Honda Click, so if you break that down onto a monthly basis, that works out 1,500 Thai baht a month. On top of the cost for your motorbike, you're going to want to put gas into there as well. I don't spend a lot on gas. I probably spend about 100 baht a week, which comes to about 400 baht a month. It can be a little bit more than that sometimes. So if I plan to go out of the city and I go to somewhere like Monjam, for example, or I'm going exploring to Doisatep or somewhere, then it'll cost me a little bit more. But just for getting around the city centre to go to the gym or the restaurant or to the coffee shop, 400 baht a month. And when we've got our own transport, some things do go wrong from time to time. If you want to get the brakes fixed or you end up with a flat tyre, then I also factor in maybe about 200 baht for something like that. It's not that expensive if you've got a problem with your motorbike. I'm not sure about a car, but with a motorbike, maintenance is really affordable. A few other expenses that can add up over the month are things like toiletries, laundry detergent, or occasionally you might, like I said before, experience a punctured tyre on your motorbike or some other form of transport issue. All these little minor purchases, they do add up. I usually allocate about 200 Thai baht a day for these type of expenses, so 6,000 Thai baht a month. I combine these expenses with my food budget, for example, 300 a day for food and 200 for miscellaneous, so I typically give myself a budget for all of that of 500 Thai baht a day, which comes to 15,000 Thai baht a month. Of course, this is not rigid and it is flexible. Some months I might spend a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more than that. This is just a rough guide based on my previous experience and spending. One thing that can massively increase this is buying new clothes. I've changed a lot in recent years and would often buy clothes just because I like them rather than I needed them. I've stopped doing that as there's only so much room in my suitcase when I travel regularly. However, if you do want to go shopping in Chiang Mai, there's plenty of options. There's Central Festival, there's Maya, there's Central Plaza. So if you're wanting to treat yourself to some new clothes, you've definitely got plenty of choice. Right then, so now we've been through all of those categories, I'll do a little calculation and work out the cost per month for one person. This figure that I share with you, it is based on one person living on their own. But of course, if you've got a partner and you split the bills between you, then this price will come down even further because you'll split the accommodation between two people. So my grand total comes to 41,600 Thai baht a month, which is 1,134 US dollars. That could probably fluctuate from one month to another depending on what I do, if I go out, if I buy alcohol, if I eat in Western restaurants, but that's just a ballpoint figure just to give you an idea of how much it would cost per person living on their own. I hope that's helpful. If you've got any questions, please get in touch with me in the comments. Also, if you do live in Chiang Mai or you have lived there in the past, leave your experience in the comments. Did you pay less? Did you pay more? Let us know, because the more information everyone's got, the easier it is to decide whether Chiang Mai is a good choice to live. If you want another video to watch, have a look at this one now. This is Chiang Mai, best areas to live. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. See you soon.